I can't wait to taste this biryani. I've tasted many a biryanis, but this is very unique in its appearance and also in its aroma. Oh, now the tuppa. Tuppad male. I love the manner in which he's almost breaking that biryani. All that natikoli is erupting to the top along with the aroma that's captured in the steam that's rising from that biryani pot. It's almost like a sauna with the vapors that are rising up from that bisi natikoli biryani. Namaskara folks, this is Kripalamana, Gourmet on the Road, and you're watching Food Lovers TV. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're staying safe and strong. You know I will travel miles for a biryani, for a good biryani that is. And this afternoon we've set out towards Ramnagara, which is roughly around 60 kilometers from home in Bengaluru. Because I've heard of this place that's over 20 years old and makes a country chicken or a nati koli biryani. Now biryanis I've tasted plenty, but a nati koli biryani, well, you rarely come across. And they serve this biryani only on a Wednesday. So today we've decided to drive to Ramanagara to taste the nati koli biryani at Rajesh Biryani Hotel. This one should be interesting, especially if you're a biryani lover. Stay tuned till the end. Namaskara. New Mr. Rajesh. Nice to meet you, sir. Well, I'm with Mr. Rajesh, and of course, it's the Rajesh Biryani Hotel. ನಿಮ್ಮದು ಊರಲ್ಲಿ?
ನಮ್ಮದು ಕೇರ್ಪೇಟೆ 30 ಇಯರ್ಸ್ ಆಯ್ತು ನಾನು ಮನೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟು.
ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಬಿರಿಯಾನಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದದ ನೀವು?
ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ನಾನು ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಆಕಸ್ಮಿಕ ಮನೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬಂದಿದ್ದು. ಬೇರೆ ಹೋಟ್ಲಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೆ.
Really?
ಮೈಸೂರು ಪಾರ್ಕ್ ಲೈನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬಂದೆ, ತಿರ್ಗಾ ಬೇರೆ ಮಂಡ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ. ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. ಕಬಾಬ್ ಅಂಗಡಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಫಸ್ಟ್, ಆಮೇಕಿಂದ ಬಿರಿಯಾನಿ ಹೋಟೆಲ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್.
ವಂಡರ್ಫುಲ್. ಸೊ ಬಿರಿಯಾನಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಈಗ ಎಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಷ ಆಯಿತು?
25 ಇಯರ್ಸ್ ಆಯಿತು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಅವಾಗ ಏನಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ, 1 kg 2 kg ಮಾಡೋದು. ಈ 20 ಇಯರ್ಸಿಂದ ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನೇಮ್ ಆಯಿತು.
ವಂಡರ್ಫುಲ್. ಸೊ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಆನ್ ಅ ವೆಡ್ನೆಸ್ಡೇ, ಬುಧವಾರ. ಸೊ ಬುಧವಾರ ನಿಮ್ಮದು ನಾಟಿ ಕೋಳಿ ಬಿರಿಯಾನಿ. ಸೊ ನಾಟಿ ಕೋಳಿ ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ತರ್ತೀರಾ?
ಸರ್ ಮಾಗಡಿಯಿಂದ ತರಿಸ್ತೀವಿ.
ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಕಮ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಆನ್ ಅ ವೆಡ್ನೆಸ್ಡೇ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಗೆಟ್ ದ ನಾಟಿ ಕೋಳಿ. ಬೇರೆ ದಿನ ಮಟನ್ ಕುರಿದ?
ಹಾಂ ಟಗರು. ಒಂದು 13 14 kg ಇರ್ತದೆ ಸರ್.
ಓಕೆ.
ಇದು ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ದಬ್ರೆ ಮುಗೀತು.
ಸೊ ಇದು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ವೆಸಲ್?
ಇಲ್ಲ, ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್
ವೆಸಲ್.
ಸರ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗು ಒಂದು 20 ಕಿಲೋ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು. ಇದೊಂದು 12
ಕಿಲೋಸ್.
ಈಗ ರೆಡಿ ಇರೋದು 25. ಈಗ 3 o'clock ಇಂದ ಮಾಮೂಲಿ ಬಾಯ್ಲರ್.
ಬ್ರಾಯ್ಲರ್ ಚಿಕನ್. ಕೋಲಮ್ಮ,
ಕೇಸರ್ ಕಲಿ, GTS 2 ಯಾವುದ್ರೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಒಂದು. ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಜೀರಾ
ಸಾಂಬಾರ್. ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಜೀರಾ ಸಾಂಬಾರ್ ಹಾಕ್ತೀರಾ?
ಇಲ್ಲ, GTS ಹಾಕ್ತೀವಿ.
ಜಾಸ್ತಿ GTS ಹಾಕ್ತೀರಾ? So basically the rice that they use here is a combination of the kolam, which is either the GTS or the kesar kali, which is the brand, and then they have the jeera sambar rice. What I also liked in that nati koli is the skin. That's where the flavor comes from. Allinda flavor. So ನಿಮಗೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಐಡಿಯಾ ಬಂತು ನಾಟಿ ಕೋಳಿ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಂತ?
ಸರ್ ನಮಗೆ ಯಾರೋ ಒಬ್ಬರು ಸ್ನೇಹಿತರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಈ ಸುಮಾರು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ 1 kg ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು 2 kg, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು 10 kg, ಇವಾಗ ಒಂದು 70 80 kg ಬೇಕು. ಈ ಸುಮಾರು ಒಂದು 15 ವರ್ಷ ಆಯಿತು ಒಬ್ಬನೇ ಮಾಗಡಿಯಿಂದ ತಂದು ಕೊಡೋದು. ಇವಾಗ ಬೇರೆ ಕಸ್ಟಮರ್ ಬಂದು ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಕೋಳಿ ಐತೆ, ನಾವು ನಾಟಿ ಕೋಳಿ ಸಾಕಿದ್ದೀವಿ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ತಾಳಲ್ಲ. ಅಯ್ಯಪ್ಪ ಅವಾಗಿಂದ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ, ಇವತ್ತು ಅವನ ಹತ್ರ ಅಂತ.
He says that even the leaf that he gets, that is washed before it is served to customers, and I can sense that even as I rub my fingers on it, there is not even the least amount of dust, and I think that speaks in the work that he does. It's a modest establishment but very neat. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಐಟಮ್ ನಿಮ್ದು? ಕಬಾಬ್, ಕಾಲ್ ಸೂಪ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಮುದ್ದೆ ಕೂಡ ಇದೆ.
ಮುದ್ದೆ.
ಐ ಲೈಕ್ ದ ಮ್ಯಾನರ್ ಇನ್ ವಿಚ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ವೆರಿ ಕ್ಲೀನ್, ವೆರಿ ನೀಟ್ ಇದೆ, ಸುಮಾರು ಆರ್ಗನೈಸ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀರಾ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ಸ್ ದ ಜೀರಾ ಸಾಂಬಾರ್ ರೈಸ್ ದೇರ್, ಅಂಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಬುಲೆಟ್ ರೈಸ್. ಇದೇನು ಇದು ಯಾವುದಕ್ಕೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ನೀವು?
ಚಟ್ನಿ.
ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿರಿಯಾನಿ ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಚಟ್ನಿ ಬೆಳೆಸ್ತೀರಲ್ಲ, ಹೇಗೆ ಅದು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಯ್ತು?
ನಾನು ರಾಮನಗರಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಾಗ ಈ ಚಿತ್ರಾನ್ನ ಇಡ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ರೆಡಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೆ. ಅವಾಗ ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಬಿರಿಯಾನಿ ರೆಡಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, 1 kg 2 kg ಬಿರಿಯಾನಿ. ಅವಾಗ ಯಾರ ಸ್ನೇಹಿತರು ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಆಲ್ಟರ್ನೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಚಟ್ನಿನೇ ಬಿರಿಯಾನಿ ಕೊಡ್ರೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರ್ತದೆ ಅಂದರು.
ಓ ವಂಡರ್ಫುಲ್ಸ್. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ದು ಚಿತ್ರಾನ್ನದ ಚಟ್ನಿ, ಇಡ್ಲಿದು ಚಟ್ನಿ ಬಿರಿಯಾನಿಗೆ ಬಳಸ್ತಾರೆ.
ಕಾಂಬಿನೇಷನ್ ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಪುದೀನ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮೆಣಸು, ಜೀರಿಗೆ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಹುಣಸೆ ಹಣ್ಣು ಬರ್ತದಿಲ್ಲ, ಹುಣಸೆ ಹಣ್ಣು,
ಹಳ್ಳಿದು ಹುಣಸೆ ಹಣ್ಣು, ದ ಟ್ಯಾಮರಿನ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ವಿಲೇಜ್,
ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ದು. ಈ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದೇ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗೈತೆ ಅಂದರು. ನಾವು ಸೇರುವ ಇದೇನು ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ, ಕಾಂಬಿನೇಷನ್ನು ಚಟ್ನಿ
ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ. And that is a unique thing about Rajesh Biryani Hotel here in Ramnagara. The chutney that is served with the biryani.
ಈಗ ನಮಗೆ ಕಸ್ಟಮರ್ ತಿನ್ನಕ್ಕೆ ಬರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಅವರು ನಮಗೆ ದೇವ್ರ ಸಮಾನ. ನಾವು ತಿನ್ನೋ ವಸ್ತುನೇ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ನಮಗೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದಾಗ ಅವರು ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರ್ತದೆ ಸರ್. ನಮಗೆ ತೃಪ್ತಿ ಆದರೆ ಅವರು ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗೈತೆ ಅಂತಾರೆ.
I like his philosophy. I was just observing that everything out here looks very neat, doesn't look grimy in the least. And he says, well, the customers who come to me are like my gods. If I am not happy with what I see, how can I serve that to my customers?
ಒಂದು 4 ಕಸ್ಟಮರು ಪಾತ್ರೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ವೆರಿವೇಷನ್ ಆಯ್ತು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಆ ಪಾತ್ರೆ ಬಿರಿಯಾನಿ ಕೊಡಲ್ಲ ನಾನು.
Oh, really?
ಕೊಡಲ್ಲ ಸರ್. ನಾವೇ ನಿಂತ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಎಲ್ಲ ಈ ಕೆಲಸದವ್ರು ಯಾರು ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅವ್ರು ನಮ್ಮ ರಿಲೇಟಿವ್, ಇವನು ಅಕ್ಕನ ಮಗ, ಇಡೀ ನಮ್ಮ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ.
ವೆರಿ ನೈಸ್.
ನಾವು ಇವಾಗಲೂ ಮನೇಲಿ ಕುಂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಊಟ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಜೊತೆಲೇ ಕುಂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಊಟ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ.
ಓ ರಿಯಲಿ?
ವರ್ಕರ್ಸು ನಾವು ಕೆಲಸದವ್ರನ್ನ. ನಾನು ಕೂಲಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಬಂದಿರೋದಲ್ವ ಸರ್.
ಸೊ ಅವಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ನೀವೇ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರಿ?
ಇವಾಗಲೂ ನಾನೇ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಮಸಾಲೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ರೆಡಿ ಮಾಡೋದು ನಾನೇ. ಮರಿ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ನಂದೆ. ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ 4:30 ಬರ್ತೀನಿ. ಎಲ್ಲ ಪರ್ಚೇಸಿಂಗ್ ನಂದೆ.
ಇದೇನು ರುಬ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಇಲ್ಲಿ?
ಮಸಾಲೆ ಏನು ಕಲರ್ ಐತೆ ಸೇಮ್ ಇದನ್ನು ಬಿರಿಯಾನಿನೂ ಅದೇ.
ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಚಕ್ಕೆ ಇದೆ, ಚಕ್ಕೆ,
ಲವಂಗ, ಮೆಣಸು, ಬೆಳ್ಳುಳ್ಳಿ, ಕೊತ್ತಂಬರಿ ಸೊಪ್ಪು, ಪುದೀನ, ತೆಂಗಿನಕಾಯಿ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಹಾಕಿರ್ತೀವಿ.
ಶುರು ನೀವು ಆಯಿಲ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಆನಿಯನ್ ಹಾಕ್ತೀರಾ?
50 kg ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು 2 kg ಆನಿಯನ್ ಹಾಕತ್ತೀವಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಆನಿಯನ್ನು ಫಸ್ಟು ಡ್ರೈ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊತೀವಿ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅದು ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಡ್ರೈ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ತುಪ್ಪ ವಿತ್ ಆಯಿಲ್ ಇದು ಹಾಕೊಂಡು ಆಯಿಲಲ್ಲಿ ಟೊಮೊಟೊ ವಿತ್ ಆನಿಯನ್ನು ಡ್ರೈ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊತೀವಿ. ಅದಾದಮೇಲೆ ಮಟನ್ ಹಾಕಿ.
ಅದಾದಮೇಲೆ
ಮಟನ್ನು ಫುಲ್ ಡ್ರೈ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಫುಲ್ ಡ್ರೈ ಆಗಿ ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಲರ್ ಬರಬೇಕು. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಉರಿತಾರೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮಸಾಲೆ.
ಸೊ ಎವ್ರಿ ಬಿರಿಯಾನಿ ದಟ್ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಫೈಂಡ್ will be unique, and out here what is unique is the use of the wet masala. So all the spices, the green are all ground into the masala. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಏನು ಹಾಕಲ್ಲ, ಬರೀ ಟೊಮೆಟೊ, ಆನಿಯನ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಸೊ ಇದು ಎಲ್ಲ ನಿಮ್ದು ಪಾತ್ರೆ?
ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಪಾತ್ರೆ, ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಬಿರಿಯಾನಿಗೆ.
ಓ ಬಿರಿಯಾನಿಗೆ. ಲುಕ್ ಎಟ್ ದ ಸ್ಕೇಲ್ ಆಫ್ ದೋಸ್ ವೆಸಲ್ಸ್ ಔಟ್ ದೇರ್. ಸೊ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಚಿಕ್ಕದು, ಅವಾಗ 2 ಕಿಲೋ ಚಿಕ್ಕದಿತ್ತು. ಈಗ 20 ಕಿಲೋ
ಜಾಸ್ತಿ. 60 ಕಿಲೋ ಮಟನ್ನು, 55 ಅಕ್ಕಿ.
60 ಕಿಲೋ ಮಟನ್, 55 ಕಿಲೋ ಅಕ್ಕಿ. ವಂಡರ್ಫುಲ್.
ನಮ್ಗೆ ನೋಡೋಕೆ ಫ್ರೆಶ್ ಆಗಿರಬೇಕು. ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟಿಂದನೇ.
I also like the look of the produce here, in not just making the biryani but also in terms of procuring the ingredients. Well, that's all the ನಾಟಿಕೋಳಿ. ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಟೈಮ್ ತಗೊಳುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ನಾಟಿಕೋಳಿ ಬೇಯಲಿಕ್ಕೆ? 1.5 hours. ಸೊ ಅಂದರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮದು ಬಿರಿಯಾನಿ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಒಂದು 2 hours ಬೇಕು.
2 hours.
ಮತ್ತು ಮಾಮೂಲಿ ನೀವು ಬ್ರಾಯ್ಲರ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ
ಅದು 1/2 hour.
ಮತ್ತು ಮಟನ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಟಗರನ್ನು
ಅದನ್ನೇ 1 hour ಅದು ಆಯ್ತದೆ. 1.5.
ಸೊ ಎಲ್ಲದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ನಾಟಿಕೋಳಿ. ನಾಟಿಕೋಳಿ takes 2 hours for each biryani pot to be prepared.
ಮಟನ್ನು 1.5.
Mutton 1.5 hours. I like the color of his biryani. ಭಾಳ ಯೂನಿಕ್ ಇದೆ ನಿಮ್ಮದು ಕಲರ್ ಅಲ್ಲ? ಕೆಲವು ಕಡೆ ಕೆಂಪು ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಕೆಲವು ಕಡೆ ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ನಿಮ್ಮದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಬ್ರೌನಿಶ್. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು ಹಾಕ್ತೀರಾ, ಪೆಪ್ಪರ್ ಹಾಕ್ತೀರಾ?
ನಾವು ಹಾಕಿರ್ತೀವಿ, ಮೆಣಸು ಹಾಕಿ ರುಬ್ಬಕ್ಕೆ. ಕಾಳು
ಮೆಣಸು ಹಾಕ್ತೀರಾ, ಪೆಪ್ಪರ್. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಪೆಪ್ಪರ್ ದಟ್ ಗೋಸ್ ಇನ್. You know, every item that I see here, ಭಾಳ ನೀಟ್ ಇದೆ, ಕ್ಲೀನ್ ಇದೆ. ಯಾರು ಕ್ಲೀನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಇದು?
ಕ್ಲೀನಿಂಗ್.
So they don't just take things out of a packet and put it in. There's a lot of effort that's gone into every ingredient out here, which is a nice thing to see. ಇದು ಹಾಕ್ತೀರಾ ಬಿರಿಯಾನಿಯಲ್ಲಿ? ಮೇಸ್, ಸ್ಟಾರ್ ಅನೀಸ್,
ತವಪ್ಪ,
ಅದು ಮರಾಠ್ ಮೊಗ್ಗು, ದ ಕೆಪಾಕ್ ಬಡ್, ಲವಂಗ, ಕಲುಹು, ಕಲುಹು and the shahjeera. So these are all the items that go into the making of that masala. Well, now the fire has gone up because the rice has gone into that biryani pot. So the fire has been turned up for that biryani to cook in its final stage. ಮೊಸರು. ಇದೇನು ಹಾಕಿದ್ರಾ ಇದು?
ಸರ್ ಅದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಏಲಕ್ಕಿ. ಏಲಕ್ಕಿ.
ಏಲಕ್ಕಿ. Oh, cardamom. So I saw some ಮೊಸರು going in and then also some ಏಲಕ್ಕಿ powder. ಅದು ಮೊಸರು ಯಾಕೆ ಹಾಕ್ತೀರಾ?
ಅದು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಹಾಕ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು, ಮರ್ತ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇದು ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ ಬರಲಿ ಅಂತ.
ಮತ್ತೆ ಏಲಕ್ಕಿ ಪುಡಿ ಘಮ ಪರಿಮಳಕ್ಕೆ. ವಂಡರ್ಫುಲ್.
ಅದು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಹಾಕಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ಏಲಕ್ಕಿ, ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ
ಹಾಕ್ತೀರಾ?
ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏಲಕ್ಕಿ ವಿತ್ ಜೈಕಾಯಿ.
Some hot water that's gone in.
ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಮಟನ್ ಕರಿ.
ಮಟನ್ ಕರಿ.
ಮಟನ್
ಮುದ್ದೆ ಜೊತೆಗೆ. ವಂಡರ್ಫುಲ್.
ಕೈಮಾ ಉಂಡೆ.
ಓ, ಕೈಮಾ ಉಂಡೆ ಕೂಡ ಇದೆ.
ಬೋಟಿ ಗೊಜ್ಜು.
ಬೋಟಿ ಗೊಜ್ಜು ಹಿಯರ್. ಚಿಕನ್ ಕುರ್ಮಾ.
ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿರಿಯಾನಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ.
Biryani ಜಾಸ್ತಿ. So, and the white rice. So people come here for the biryani. But if you want to just eat the ragi mudde or the white rice with the saru, you can do that as well. Well, the biryani is bubbling away and I can see a whole bunch of customers who've come there, occupied their tables, waiting patiently for that biryani. And this is a biryani that runs out very quickly, I'm told.
ಇದಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ ಪೌಡ್ರು ಓನಾಗಿ ನಾವೇ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ತೀವಿ. ಧನಿಯಾ ಪುಡಿಗೆ
Dhania pudi.
ವಿತ್ತು ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಕಡಲೆ ಕಾಳು ಸೊಪ್ಪು ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಹಾಕಿ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಪೌಡ್ರ್ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ವಿತ್ ಅದೇ ಥರ ಅಷ್ಟುದು ಕೊಂಬಿರ್ತದಲ್ಲ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಹಾಕಿ ನಾವು ಓನಾಗಿ ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಬಿಸಿ ಮಾಡಿ ರೆಡಿ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ತೀವಿ.
I can't wait to taste this biryani. I've tasted many a biryanis, but this is very unique in its appearance and also in its aroma. ಸುಮಾರು ಶ್ರಮ ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ಲ ಬಿರಿಯಾನಿ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ. ನಾವು ತಿನ್ನುವಾಗ ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲ್ಲ. When we eat, in 15 minutes we finish that biryani. But the amount of hard work that goes into every pot of biryani. And Rajesh here has been doing this for the last 25 years. He comes from a family of farmers. So Manila we have agriculturally. But he knew biryani will be wonderful. So he set out to make his fortune about 30 years ago. He began first by working in some eatery in Mysuru, and then he came here in the town of Ramnagara. Iga Ramnagara mane?
ರಾಮನಗರ.
Originally from KR Pete. So he came first, and as he established, he also brought the rest of his family. So ellaru ottige grow ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ. Wonderful. How wonderful is that? He doesn't want to waste any of that rice. All that rice he's cleaning with the sautu to make sure it finds its way back into that biryani pot. Because every rice is impregnated with that precious flavor of that masala. Oh, now the tuppa. Tuppad male. Wonderful. Rajesh is now raining some Nandini tuppa on that biryani. I like how that tuppa has formed puddles, but as that biryani cooks on dum, ella tuppa kalige hogutte mettige. All that tuppa will find its way to the bottom of that thereby infusing every grain of rice with its lush buttery flavor.
10 minutes.
10 minutes. I like the use of the bag of rice as the weight for that biryani.
ಲೆಗ್ ಸೂಪ್.
Oh, kal soup. ಇದು ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಮಸಾಲೆ ನಿಮ್ದು. ಸೊ ಮಸಾಲೆ ರುಬ್ಬಿ ಹಾಕ್ತೀರಾ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ? ಓ, ವಂಡರ್ಫುಲ್.
ಯಾವುದು ಪೌಡ್ರು? ನೋ ಪೌಡ್ರು ಸರ್.
ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇದು ನಿಮ್ದು ಕಾಲ್ ಸೂಪ್ ಲುಕ್ಕೇ ಬೇರೆ ಇದೆ. So in this soup, apparently he grinds the spices into a wet paste and that's how it is cooked. ಸೊ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಕಲ್ತದ್ದು ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ರೆಸಿಪೀಸ್ ನಿಮ್ಮದು?
ಸರ್ ನಮ್ಮದೆಲ್ಲ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಪಾರ್ಕ್ ಲೈನಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಈ ಆರ್ಟಿಫಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಭತ್ತ
ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ರೆಸಿಪಿ ನಿಮ್ಮದು ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಥರ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರಾ?
ನಮ್ಮ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ
ಇಲ್ಲ. ವಂಡರ್ಫುಲ್. ಐ ಲೈಕ್ ಹಿಸ್ he's doing things in a very different way. Everybody makes a biryani. He's also making a biryani, but his biryani is very different. Everybody makes a kal soup. He's also making a kal soup. But the approach, the masala, the wet masala, all that is very different. ಓ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಮಸಾಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇದು
ಕಾಳುಮೆಣಸು,
ಕಾಳುಮೆಣಸು,
ಜೀರಿಗೆ, ಪುದೀನ,
ಕೊತ್ತಂಬರಿ,
ಬೆಳ್ಳುಳ್ಳಿ, ಶುಂಠಿ. ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ.
First you're tasting the herbaceousness of the green masala, and then once you get past it, you're tasting the goodness of the meat. You're tasting the goodness of the bone. Very nice. Super ಇದೆ ಇದು. ಸೊ ಇದು ಭಾಳ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲರ್ ಇರಬೇಕು. Oh, very warm. I can also taste the weight of that masala settle on my tongue and also percolate down my throat.
ಎಲ್ಲ ಫುಲ್ ಡ್ರೈ ಆಗೈತೆ.
That biryani is completely settled. It looks like it's almost hibernating. You can just see wisps of steam slowly rise from the surface of that biryani pot. I love the manner in which he's almost breaking that biryani. All that natikoli is erupting to the top along with the aroma that's captured in the steam that's rising from that biryani pot. This is a biryani in which every grain of rice is moist. Every piece of meat has a glisten. Wonderful. So that biryani is getting ready to go out to the restaurant. I think it's also cue for us to step out and taste this very special Rajesh Natikoli biryani. Love this. Love this energy of this room. Namaskara, sir. I thought I'd just soak in the experience of watching people race for that biryani, but that biryani is flying out fast and furious. So I think we'll need to get to the table quickly if we have to stand any chance of scoring for ourselves a portion or two of the biryani. Well, our sides are already here. This, of course, is the boti. We have the khaima. We have the mutton. This, I think, is the chicken, the broiler chicken. Thank you very much. It's almost like a sauna with the vapors that are rising up from that bisi Natikoli biryani. You know, there's always a certain sense of anticipation when you watch that biryani being made. That biryani is still hot. We spent a few minutes trying to get our B-rolls, but that biryani is still hot, still busy. Of course, you have the chutney that's served along with it. And we already heard of the story because when he began this business, he used to also serve the chitranna, the idli and all of that. And there was a chutney that was made alongside. And when he began making the biryani, people said, why don't you also serve the chutney along with it? His friends told him that. So that's an advice that he has kept. So we will certainly get to the chutney with the biryani. But what I want to taste first is just that biryani by itself. I'm tasting the oily fattiness of the natikoli and then the depth that comes from that ground green masala. Oh, this is certainly a biryani rice that's extremely flavorful. You know, this is what I love in my exploration of the biryani. Every popular biryani that you meet will be different. I'm also tasting the warmth that comes from the pepper. I haven't gotten to the chicken yet, but I'm just enjoying this rice just by itself. I'm not tasting so much of the aromats, perhaps because the aromats are ground with the green masala, with the coriander, with the mint, etc. They've all combined together to make for a very unique sort of a flavor that's certainly very tasty. The rice is also the sort that clumps together very well. A combination of the tiny jeera sambar rice and the slightly bigger, slightly more fulsome bullet rice. Also, the bullet rice typically adds more volume to the biryani as it's cooked. And therefore, it also makes for a larger portion visually. If it was only the jeera sambar rice, it would be a much more compact portion. Let's get on to that chicken. Oh, that piece of meat has nicely seared, brown and soft within. I love that slightly fatty, gamey flavor of that country chicken. You can also see that the meat is pink around the edges. Get a bit of the skin with the meat. That chicken is cooked perfectly. They've cooked this meat for about an hour and a half before the rice is added. So good. Believe me, this is nothing like a typical broiler chicken biryani. That meat has tons of flavor. As you chew on it, it's rewarding you with that slightly salty edge, the character of that country chicken. This time around, some meat, some skin, and with the anna, with the rice. There's almost a certain umami, savory character to the rice. Oh, chicken kebab. Kebab kuda bandide. And now to taste some of that chutney with the biryani. I can certainly taste the granular texture of the urukadle. There's that pungent kick that comes from the garlic combined with the green chili as well. Well, here goes the rice and a bit of the chutney. You know, because they've fortified the chutney with the chili, with the garlic, it almost mimics the role of a sherwa, but in a cold sort of form. Typically, when you have a sherwa with a biryani, it basically adds a little more of that spicy punch. And it does a similar job here too, but with the punch that comes from the green chili and the garlic. Your mind might say, biryani with chutney, what's happening? But venture out a little beyond your comfort zone and taste it. Because who knows, you may hit upon something interesting. Personally, the rice is enough flavor on its own. But if you want a bit of the spike that comes from that chutney, well, introduce your rice to it too. I think let's begin with some of the sides. That boti goju. Very well prepared and nicely cleaned too. When it comes to boti, intestine, tripe, stomach, you want to make sure that it is cleaned very well. And here you can certainly see that there's none of that gaminess, that slightly off sort of flavor that you typically taste when it's not been cleaned well. I think I also got a bit of liver in that gochu. Let's go for some of that kaima. On my fingers, I can already detect a bit of the pastiness that comes from the gram flour. This is also what I'm tasting. Yes, I'm tasting the flavor of the meat, but also alongside that of the gram flour. So in places like these, they use a combination of the gram flour and the egg to bind the meat together. But having said that, it's quite tasty. I love the flavor of that gravy. I think with that rice, so the keema is also ground very coarsely. So some of the bits of keema have clumped together, and therefore you're also biting into thick chunks of ground meat. You almost forgive that slight pastiness of the gram flour. That rice, the flavor. Now I'm tasting also the sweetness that comes from some of the hard spices. I'm tasting the sweetness that comes from the star anise. Let's go for some of that chicken kebab. Kebab is moist and juicy, crunchy on the outside. The masala is seeped all the way into that chicken. That kebab is cooked all the way through. I love that fatty, crispy crunch of that skin. Let's also taste chicken saru. The chicken saru has cooled a bit. So when you come here and you don't feel like doing the biryani, or after the biryani is run out, they also do the mudde that you can order with one of the sarus. But most people that I see have ordered for the biryani. So I think it's a biryani that's the main draw here. Let's now taste some of that mutton saru. I was expecting that mutton to have a bit of a chew, but none of that. There's plenty of fat that's ribboned through the meat. So that's the manner in which they like their mutton here. They wanted to have a bit of a bite and also with plenty of the fat, with plenty of the charbi. I got some of the gizzard as well in my biryani portion. I like the fact that you have to make a bit of effort when you bite into that natikoli. Having enjoyed the country chicken biryani, I'm already making plans to return here to taste their mutton biryani. So if you want to taste a biryani that's made in a very different style with that wet ground masala, definitely find your way to Rajesh Biryani Hotel here in Ramnagara. It's only a 50 or 60 kilometer drive from Bengaluru on the expressway. But the biryani here, the food here is the sort that makes it worth your while. On that note, I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Gourmet on the Road. Slightly noisy, but tasty nonetheless. Until the next time, take care, stay safe, stay strong, and happy eating. Oh, Mamuli Paneer 110. Chicken biryani.
Mutton 210.
210. Bada reasonable ಇದೆ.
Natikoli 210. Mutton 210. Boiler 110.
Oh, very good. So 110 ಗೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಬಿರಿಯಾನಿ ತಿನ್ಬೋದು. If you come with a natikoli 210, mutton also 210. So all that I've eaten, including 3 plates of biryani that will also feed the crew and the side dishes for only rupees 1420. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ tasty food ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ but also value for money. ಅಲ್ಲ? Fantastic. If you'd like to support the work that we do at Food Lovers TV, do consider joining our membership community on YouTube by hitting the join button below or on the home page and receive special privileges like behind the scenes footage, shoot updates, access to live Q&As and a lot more. You could support us on our Patreon page as well. For more info, check out the links in the description below. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, share and leave a comment below. Happy eating.